What's good? It's your boy Nova ZDENT coming back in with another video. I know you're gonna say, "Oh, this is so interesting. You don't have anything in the background." But remember, I'm not always gonna do React content, though it'll be a big part of what I do, right? Until I get my weight up. Shout out to Random University. He said he's gonna help an old nigga like me get my weight up to be able to get to where he is, and I appreciate him. I'm gonna tag him in the video because maybe I can throw some discourse his way so he can, because he loves talking about a lot of different things, not just current drama. And that's what drew me to his page. And he kind of inspired him. Watts. Jude. It kind of inspired me to keep popping off because eventually I'm gonna hit a lick. You know what I'm saying? But I made a video yesterday when I'm recording this, as a reactception. It's something I'm gonna start doing, like where I do reactions to people reactions, so I can give you a different side, a different view of how I think that goes. And one of the things that let me go ahead and see if I can get a little background music in here, see if it pops off. Yeah. There we go. Set the mood. So I made a reaction to Loot Box Hero reacting to a Sign of Culture's video about why, I don't want to play it as so simple, but he said it's why some people don't like to see black people in any fiction whatsoever. And the point I was trying to make in that is that I didn't agree with what Loot Box's overall, we agreed on a lot of it, right? But where I said, there are some people who just do not want to see, we have to justify our place in their media because that's their default. I'm gonna get a shirt, I'm gonna get some merch, and it's gonna say you are the default for your media, and that's what I'm trying to get through to people's heads, right? And then I made a point that I'm gonna sum this up before I start getting to my rant, right? But if a certain type of media is popular among a certain subsection of people, but a population size is much larger than another, they're going to be the default for that media. And people who are interested in that media in the minority of that do not have to justify their existence in that media, right? So to give you what I'm talking about right now, because I'm on my page right now so I can kind of read these comments, they're actually proving, and I'm not saying this in any negative, any animosity, I hope that one day, this time next year, the people who are commenters today are still watching my videos, because we're fostering a community of people who like to engage in topics and engage in thought, and get to the bottom of things and really just enjoy, talk what we talk and then go from there, right? But they're so far proving my point, right? Where I said that if in media that's European, which a couple points, so you got to stay with me. It's going to be long and drawn out. You know how my rants get, or hopefully you will if you give me a chance and you stay, right? If Lord of the Rings is based upon European, it's as important, it's pertinent to what I was saying, because it's not always fantasy. Media in general is different, but the point that these people were trying to make is in medieval fantasy, right? So their point was they don't mind seeing people of other races in their medieval fantasy media, right? They just have to have a reason to be there for there not to be a problem. And my entire point was, no, they don't. Just because it's based in, actually, one of the guys, he did a ground on the dox anybody, even though it's just names on the page, right? But he actually made a point that helped me in what I was saying. He said, at the time that Tolkien at the time a lot of this media was made, Africa was a mystic, far-off land, a tale for most people. They had never seen it, right? And Loot Box said you write what you know. So if you're around, if the people who look like you are the people around all day, the media you write will reflect that. And if you're writing media outside of what you know, you'll do what you're shown in media, and that's the best you can get, right? It's the best you can expect anybody to have. So they're saying so my argument was that if there were no black people at the time they wrote these things, later on, if there are black people oh, I'm interested in this thing, and we insert ourselves, or I'm not just talking black people, I'm speaking from a black perspective, but the perspective is anybody's, female, Indonesian, South Asian, Polynesian, Melanesian. In fact, it say I said in one of my videos, if there's a young white kid who wants to cosplay as Black Panther, people better leave that kid alone because he enjoys the concept of what he's looking at, and he sees himself embodying the tenets of what's going on. But all of their comments so far have been, well, I don't mind seeing people of different races in my fantasy fiction. They just have to have a reason to be there. And Loot Box Hero's whole argument, well, not whole entire argument, right? One of his main points was like not everybody thinks that way. But what? Now we have we're seeing it from two different sides. His argument is in the affirmative, like he's believing that people are inherently good, right? Like he's saying like, there may be some people who think that black people have to justify a seat at the table, and they just don't want to see black media at all, or they want black people to have their own media, but they don't want it to exist either, right? And I was speaking from the mind frame of like, hey, you have to judge the people at what they say, and if you're on one of the points that I made, right, is that if there are 50 people in the hobby, I'm just giving you a random number, right? Let's go 100 so we can make it nice and easy. I'm an American, I need my things simple. If there were 100 people in the hobby, 80 of them were Caucasian, 20 were of other races, other races, right? If one person from one of the minority races posted something, the other 20 probably aren't going to, let's say like 2 of them would be like, ooh, this is a terrible cosplay, it doesn't really fit what it needs to, it doesn't do what it needs to do, you didn't put enough effort in, you're too fat, whatever, right? But because there's so many other races of the white race, right, the Caucasian race, like if 10 of those people disparage that one person, that's much more of that's a higher percentage of the people of the other races who would probably have done that, right? It's not that much in the actual number of people, but because the scale is tipped in such a way, it's going to appear that way, right? Statistically, it'll be the same, right? Like if you break down the numbers, like, hey, 2 people made fun of you, like I'm just gonna use black because I am black, everything whatever, right? You know what you came here for. If 2 black people made fun of me, because like, one of the things that another YouTuber I follow, I'm gonna react to one of his videos later, they call them gun and ball gamers. I didn't know that term because I love me some 2K, I love me some Call of Duty. I tried High Guard last night. They are right about that game. I'm trying. We're trying. I ordered some new headsets for me and my wife, some of my buddies. We're gonna try it again and see if we can enjoy it, but you shouldn't have to try to enjoy a game. So High Guard, I would not recommend currently. I would recommend it if you're vocal and you're willing to tell them what you didn't or didn't like to craft a game. I think it could get there, but in its current state, if you want a finished product, it's not there, right? But like I was saying, so if you had, 2 black people making fun of me, well, I'd go, well, okay, 2 black people made fun of me. Dang, that's crazy because I know there's only like 6 black people who like this thing. That's 33% of black people, but 2 isn't that bad, right? But if 20 white people made fun of me, and I go like, man, I know there's 200 white people who like this thing. I'm throwing out random numbers, right? I know there's 200 white people who like this thing, 20 of them, 10%. That's actually not that bad. But because only 2 black people made fun of me and 20 white people made fun of me, it may make me think that white people don't like me in this space, right? But you've got to understand, if you watched my video on Diversity and Dragons, saying like, making fun of them trying to make an African-themed tabletop RPG simply for its existence, that's what I mean by that's what I've been saying about you don't have to ask for a seat at the table, right? Like you saying you don't mind there being people of other races in your media, you don't own the media. Now if it was yours, right, but it just comes to fandom, right? If you own the property and you said, hey, don't make official canon things with this stuff in it, I would understand. I'd be like, hey, the media's not for me. I'm still gonna watch it because I might enjoy it, but I know it's not meant for what I got going on. But to say like, I enjoy this media and you have to justify your existence to me in this media we both pay to enjoy, is something that I just do not understand. Now, if you say, hey, they're making a period piece, like Luke Buck said, like what was the show? Help me out. Downton Abbey? No, that's not the one. The one where they had like black people in all the like Victorian England stuff, and if somebody said like, hey, those characters don't represent who would have been in at the time. Okay, cool. but did you like it? Like, oh well, I couldn't watch it because it was anachronistic, and I don't like anything that's anachronistic. I'll say, okay, so you don't know if the media is good or bad. Like, I think we should watch it and see if it's good or bad. What if they acted their asses off? You could still say they didn't cast people who would have been in the time period, but the media could have still been good. I don't understand why you didn't even try to give that a chance, right? But that's because you're the default. Like, if that's your thought, right? Because I might not watch it because I'm not interested in it. But if they cast, like if they did an all-white Black Panther cast, like for a high school play, I wouldn't go to that school and say, well, why are these kids trying to do it? No, it wouldn't make any sense. It'd be weird, right? They're just kids who enjoy a thing, you know? It's how you get. I know I keep defaulting back to how conservatives, what we can learn from Black conservatives, and it more of so like Random and Jew and them maybe appreciate this if they ever come across this video. But like, one of the things I always say about Myron and Sneeko and people like that is that they want a place to belong, but they also are rebellious, and they can't get what they want, the rebellious streak they want, from people who look like them. So they have to jump through hoops to side with people who don't have their best interest at heart, because they want to have a place of belonging. And one of the guys in the comments, he said, I'm not interested in high fantasy, that's why I don't have to interact with this. I'm interested in, and he listed a bunch of anime. And but I'm saying, like, it's the same stuff, right? Like, they would still ask for a place. If you like, hey man, I like, he said Cowboy Bebop, classic, Appleseed, classic, stuff like that. If a new anime came out, like, remember when Afro Samurai came out, and everybody's like, man, we like Afro Samurai, whatever, right? But then remember, Cannon Busters had a mostly dark-skinned cast. Man, people were on the internet, and remember, the internet is a real place, right? Or on the internet saying like, oh, this is woke DEI nonsense. You didn't even watch it. You don't know if it's woke DEI nonsense. You just see an anime style thing done with dark-skinned people, and you want them to get permission from you to be able to have the thing exist. That's crazy to me. But it's okay if you don't support with your wallet, because that's your right. But they don't have to ask your permission to make the thing, Now, I will give them some kudos. One of the guys who I've been going back and forth, but not like in a mean way, as in like he's been throwing some comments, I've been throwing him some comments. I've been saying like we've been having two separate conversations, right? Because he kind of said he was agreeing with me at the beginning. He just doesn't know it. He was saying if they had presented Black characters because he made the example of the Mortal Engines, right? Like, nobody had a problem with this character because they wrote him into the show and gave him hey, he was an explorer from outside. He came in, and now he's allowed to be here. But my whole thing was like, you don't have to justify it. It's not real. It's not a historical. That's what I was saying. Like, if you made a historical piece and then you started flip-flopping all the races or whatever, and you still claim historical accuracy, I got you. You've got a dub on that one, right? But if you make a fantasy or science fiction or sci-fi epic in which the lore is not, like, racial lore is not important, right? Like, if you said, like, hey, everybody is from, I'm American, right? If you said, hey, Cheyenne, Wyoming, this is what happened during the 1920s, and it has alternate history, and now this is what it looks like now. Unless you might have to try to stretch it and let me figure out, you might have to give me a little information of how 400,000 only Asians live in Cheyenne, Wyoming in 2005 in that universe. Sure, right? But if you're saying like, oh, it's based on something that looks similar to Earth, but it's not Earth, and then you start putting Asians and, Melanesians and Black people next to each other, you don't have to justify that. And, saying that, well, it's because Black people didn't exist at the time you wrote it, well, they do now. Like, why would they have to just enjoy the media? Now, as a Division I hater and contrarian, I don't want to rant too much. I do want to speak my mind and speak freely, but I can actually agree with Scion in his video, and Lootbox says something at the end of their videos that I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with. As a people, we have to stop looking for validity in stuff that is European. And now I'm not saying like you can't enjoy that. Like, if you make your own Lord of the Rings spinoff, just know you're going to have those issues with that crowd who said, hey, we don't even want you to have your own thing if it's based on our thing. I saw on Sion's page, he posted, not because so you can see my timeline, right? He posted on his page, why isn't there more media based on African folklore and stuff like that? I'm actually interested to go watch that and react to it, because I want to see, I mean, he's a young kid, he's a young guy, right? I won't say kid because that's rude to him, right? I'm interested to see what he thinks about it, right? Because I've always wondered that. I'm like, hey, why is there more stuff based on that we could support and and kind of attach our names to, and maybe 10-20 years down the line it's just the same, it's just as ingrained in people as basketball, right? Like LeBron, Kobe, Harden, no matter where you go in the world, John Jones, I know it's fighting, right? But John Jones, Pepe, people like that, like you go around the world, people know who those people are. There are institutions around the world. We can have those things, and I'll be interested to see. Now, I know the first step is because they're not popular yet. Like, I'm sure the first time Harry Potter was written, and there's people who right now who get made fun of for Harry Potter, like for liking Harry Potter. I'll make fun of Disney adults. You can't convince me that Disney adults aren't weird people. But Disney started a thing. Like, there wasn't a Mickey Mouse before he started, or Steamboat Willie, or whatever it was when he started, right? That didn't exist before he started it, and enough people saw themselves in it or got joy from it that it created an empire, right? We can have that empire, and I'm not saying we as in like a monolithic, as in something I'm interested in. We can have that same power if somebody hits the right combination of appeal to a mass audience and moral fiber to stick to it and not change up when the going gets tough. Like somebody will eventually see it for what it needs to be. And I think for these kind of things to not be important anymore, like where you have to make a video on why other people don't allow you to exist in your own frame. There has to be enough of people like you. And I don't just mean this as skin color. I mean this as ideology. I mean this as religion, as fandom, like something you're passionate about, kink, whatever what have you, right? There's enough people who like the thing that you like that you can feel stalwart in your opinion, knowing that when you wake up tomorrow, at least enough people will help you get that extra step. So all this to say, I'm enjoying the fact that people are interacting with my video. It does feel great. I can understand how larger creators, can keep going on and keep making that happen, right? But for all the young people of any type, any kind, not just black people. Remember, I speak to black people because I am black, right? But Asians, Latinos, white people even, right? Like, the amount of times where one of the things I will never understand as a black person, when a white person enjoys being called seasoned, or where they're like, oh, you gotta invite to the cookout, and I'm like, that doesn't it make you feel embarrassed? You're not feeling like you're passionate about this craft, like whether it be dancing, rapping, you're good at sports, like what I'm saying, like Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship, they're the spicy whites, and it's kind of funny, but it also feels like a minstrel show, right? Like, they're athletes at the top of their craft. Then there shouldn't be a novelty simply because their skin tone isn't the same skin tone as everybody around them. And yes, it's because they're in a minority of it's not a negative connotation, right? Like, they're saying like, wow, it's awesome that you're able to perform at this level based on your skin color. But for me, I always think of like when someone says, hey, you have a really good grasp of the English language, you're eloquent, you don't have a criminal record, things of that nature. Like, I go like, hey, that's actually really hurtful, why would you say that? And like, oh, it's a positive thing, but to you maybe. And I think everybody should rail against stuff like that, and obviously some are more serious than not, but if you're out there and you want to create something, be confident, put it out there. Somebody may like it. Look at me, I'm up to 14 subscribers. I got a subscriber yesterday, and a shout out to whoever that is. Maybe once I reach 100, I'll go through and I'll thank each person personally, because I feel really good about that. It motivated me to be able to go make it happen, and I don't even know who the person is who blessed me with that subscription. But I'm going to speak directly toward the people that I want to influence right now, like young black children who want to make, or even people my age, right? Because I said one of my video about diversity in dragons, railing on the grifters over there because of their race or whatever, right? I would love to play a tabletop game based in, you know, I realistically, if you make a Static Shock based game where we all had powers like the people in that, that would be enough for me, right? You know, it doesn't have to be African. I'm not African, so that is not necessarily appealing to me in the same respect it would be if you just made like an inner city New York or Detroit or Naptown RPG where I could roll a D20 to, you know, get out of traffic in time after a Pacers game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but be passionate in whatever you do. If you've got an opinion that you don't think is popular, say it. You know, the internet will tell you, and then you can defend it if you think it's good, or you don't have to defend it if you change your mind. You realize it's a bad opinion. So go make the thing. You know, don't ask for a seat at the table. If you want to have black elves in your thing, if you want to have Mexican dwarves in your thing, if you want to have Cambodian drow in your thing, if you want to have redwood treants in California that are the size of, or you know, Neo California, whatever, that are the size of buildings, make your thing. Let the market decide, and your passion and your marketing skills decide if it's worth pursuing. So again, you don't have to ask for a seat at the table. They can tell you to justify it. They can try to check your card, but you say, hey, you don't have to buy it. That's understandable. That's okay. Maybe somebody else will. Somebody will listen, even if it's not you. Thank you for stopping by for this rant. 1.